access to services and opportunity, right? जो social biases होते हैं ना, you know, but even things like dowry, even things like you know, a lot of crimes, AI can sometimes generate output which can accentuate such societal behaviors. You have to be very, very cautious. How do you ensure that AI is used ethically? That's very, very important, right? Misinformation, manipulation. AI can generate convincing but fabricated content posing threat to public trust and informed decision making. You know, so all these things are a big, 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 big challenge for AI to happen. And let me just let me see the limited time available. I just want to tell you that India also, from a technology perspective, some very, very overview, big, you know, digital. How many of you have heard about Digital India mission, right? There's a mission called Digital India, right? It's a program to transform, and India is not lagging behind, you know, like DPI. You know DPI, we all use DPI, we all make, what payments are those called? UPI payment, sorry, UPI payments we make, right? UPI payments are far more advanced in India than even in the US or Japan or Germany and UK, right? So in some areas where we you know, used COVID as an opportunity and started using them big time. So Digital India is a program to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. You know, so basically, if you look at, it is centered around 3 key areas: digital infrastructure, which India is creating big time, and therefore information is being supplied as a utility to the Indian citizens, to every Indian citizen. The governance and demand on services is increasing huge time, and it has led already to a digital empowerment of citizens. You know, today in India there are about 1 crore mobile phone users. You know that? 1 crore 1 crore smartphone users. Total mobile phone users are little more, you know, kind of a thing. So I think it's a huge challenge to seamlessly integrate across all departments, jurisdictions, state governments, ownership. You know, how do you? Problem with AI and problem with these technologies is digital technologies is, you know, you don't know where the boundary of one jurisdiction ends and the boundary of other one starts, right? So that's a real-time challenge. Services are available in real time for online and mobile platforms. Cloud, as I mentioned earlier, ease of doing business is getting improved through the India's rank on ease of doing business overall increased from I think 120, 110 to 63. You know, bulk of that improvement happened because of digital transformation of government services, right? You know, kind of thing. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो जो बाबू और क्लर्क बैठा है और जो ब्यूरोक्रेट बैठा है वो ब्राइब नहीं ले रहा है. वो सब लेकिन lot of services which became online, there the corruption reduced and the ease of doing business improved, right? So technology is a big enabler. You know, broad highways, universal access to phones, public internet usage program, access program, e-governance. Lot of you know, at that time I was in TCS where the passport seva automation happened. You are a young crowd, you may not have gone to a passport office in the old era. You know, when before the automation had happened, right? It used to be a shame to go to the passport office and ask, as if you have come with a begging bowl. You know, the treatment used to be so bad. And today, whether you know somebody, even if you don't know somebody, you walk in the thing, 15-20 minutes, your entire process is done and you are out. And you are treated with dignity. So how you know, and it was led in a global capability center of TCS, which I had led. I used to lead at that point of time. You know, see, a lot of things are happening. There are early harvest programs and so on and so forth, right? See, India has to take a very fast step forward, you know, on science and technology. The problem is we are still spending just about 0.69% of our GDP on science and technology research, which is among the lowest among G20 countries, lowest even among the BRICS countries. You know, what a shame that on AI and many digital technologies in the Western world, almost 40 to 60% people working on those technologies are of Indian origin, right? But India is deprived of the benefit, you know, because those benefits don't flow to us. That money comes to us because if Indians work, they send their money, repatriate that money to families in India and therefore household income. Indirectly, it helps India also. But India India is getting deprived of the benefit of those advances in AI and other digital technologies to an extent we should have, right? And the irony is, we were among the first set of countries to introduce scientific temper in our constitution through a constitutional change, right? But it was just a lip service we didn't do. We have institutions, labs, universities, colleges which have their own bureaucracy, leadership issues. There's hardly any global best practices deployed. There are a whole lot of, and therefore our ranks, research papers, you all come from academics, you know that, right? Our ranking in terms of citations, right? What is important is citation each research paper generates, not the number of papers. Number of papers, we are among the top 3 in the world, right? But citations, we are 10th. First is US, second is China. So we are just nowhere. Bloomberg's Global Innovation Index, we are 46th. Record to be ashamed of. Intellectual property rankings, our rank is 40 out of 53 nations, right? We claim that we are becoming the talent capital of the world, but our talent index rating is 59th in the world. So I think, all these things we need to change big time, and unless we, transform this big time, that change will not happen. That's something I fundamentally believe in. If you look at, let me see if I have the data somewhere or misplaced that, which primarily tells you that kind of, tell me how many Nobel laureates India has had in the last 100 years. A lot of digital transformation happens through people of such caliber, right? High caliber. Not, of course, this happens in every field, medicine, peace, physics, chemistry, every area you get a Nobel Prize in. Any idea how many Nobel Prizes we would have had since last 100 years? Indians and people of Indian origin put together just about 10 to 12 people. And except 2 or 3 people like C.V. Raman, Rabindranath Tagore, Mother Teresa, who actually worked in India, many of them were born here and they went abroad. People like Amartya Sen. Do you give that credit to India or do you give that credit to UK and US, right? So these are debatable things. One American university called Columbia, we have 10 in the last 100 years. One American university has 101. 2 years back, the number may have gone up now. 2 years back, this number of Nobel laureates one country had were 101, right? Oxford, Cambridge, they have anywhere between 60 to 80 Nobel laureates. One university has in a tiny country called UK has more Nobel laureates than our country as a whole. So where we are, rather than just keep celebrating, I think we have to do a serious soul searching. Google, where was Google? Do you think Google was founded, the company, where was it founded? In Stanford University. Internet, in Stanford University, which is a private endowment university in the West Coast in America, right? Can we name a single cutting edge technology? And today, whatever digital transformation that you talk about, Internet is the basic, the denominator of that. Without Internet, nothing would have. Internet was born in a lab in Stanford University. Google, the founders of Google were students in Stanford University. When they found the university, said, "Oh, you have come this far, why don't you go and set up a company outside? You've already come with the search engine. Now go out and do something like that," right? We claim we have 1,000 plus universities and 10,000 colleges and so on and so forth. Forget about the Googles. Can we even name these cutting edge inventions or R&D breakthroughs which have happened in our colleges, right? So where are we? I think it is it's a time for some soul searching. I don't want to set 12:30, it's 12:30. I'll call it a day. I wish I had another half an hour, 45 minutes, but it doesn't matter. That's partly because we started late and we were waiting for some of you to come, and therefore it was not planned, but I decided to do that social media icebreaker in the beginning. I hope it was of some value. Idea was that you don't become expert in digital transformation, but you get a flavor of what it is all about, right? What are the kind of technologies involved? What kind of digital transformation that happened, right? what work is happening in India or not happening in India vis-a-vis the rest of the world, right? What are the gaps between differences between robotics and Internet of Things? What are the differences between machine learning and AI? What are the differences between data science and AI, right? I think these simple things I wanted you to understand. You'll always have access to multiple sources. Today, we live in an AI-driven world where one chat GPT command will fetch you anything. But my idea was that you absorb the basics and you get a 30,000 feet view of what digital transformation is all about, right? As I said earlier, technologies are all fine, but what is important is the mindset change, the cultural change. Because unless you have that cultural change and change of mindset and have that inquisitiveness to question the status quo all the time, you will become the Kodaks and Nokias of the world, right? Unless you radically redesign the way you want to do business with what kind of products, what kind of operations, what kind of processes, what kind of customer services, unless you design all that using technology, there is no survival. How many of you heard about Toffler? Anybody heard about Toffler? Toffler said, "I'm not scared of people who oppose technologies." You know why? He said, "I'm not scared of people who oppose technology because they're bound to be defeated anyway. So why should I waste my energy on people who oppose technology or want the status quo? Time itself will marginalize them." Right? Thank you, and I hope it was of some value. And let me capture a picture of this wonderful class that I had. Somebody will share me, but let me keep sitting and look happy at least. Don't look gloomy. So, give me 5 more minutes for any questions that they have. It will be unfair not to give them opportunity to ask questions. Yes.
Sir, according to you, how India will look after 10 years in terms of digital transformation or AI? How it will gonna?
It's a good question and a very genuine concern you have. Let me try to answer to the best of my ability. See, what will happen through the foreign direct investment which is coming to India, right? If you're getting Hyundai's factory or Toyota's factory, right? Then those practices from South Korea and Japan will come and they'll make sure that those technologies of digital transformation are deployed in the shop floors in India also, right? So that will happen. So whatever FDI will come, FDI is foreign direct investment, right? Where other governments, companies from other countries, they come and invest. So since they're used to those technology standards in their countries, they will deploy them here also in India, right? But for the companies of Indian origin, the homegrown companies, the brick and mortar companies, that that hunger to change is not as much as it should be. Especially MSME sector, I see the most vulnerable. Because large companies can still have some people who will evangelize this, some people evangelize digital transformation, and even if they don't have the talent, they'll not have the technologies, but they'll hire from left, right, and center, right? But MSME sector will be very, very badly hit because they don't have the resources, they don't have the risk-taking capability to go forward, right? So that's what I keep challenging the government also all the time. I'm not a critic of the government at all, but good things what they do I admire. But too much of keeping the nation in celebration mode and keeping your eyes closed is also not a good thing, right? We claim we are the 4th largest economy by GDP, and now we've become 6th because the dollar has, so rupee has slipped vis-a-vis dollar, so we become the 6th largest, right? So 4th or 6th, purchasing power parity, we are still 3rd largest. That's the beauty. So that is not important. What is important? And you keep celebrating everywhere you talk about it. It's good you talk about your good things also. But what is the per capita income? Right? The value of GDP divided by the number of people you have. What is the rank? What is your feeling? 3rd rank by purchasing power parity in terms of GDP after US and China. What's your take? What's your guess? What will be India's rank among different countries when it comes to per capita income? Give me a guess. 11th, 12th, 14th. What? Give me some guess. Huh? Sorry?
147, I guess.
You're very right, or very close to that, 142, 145, something around that level. And if you look at the countries below our rank, countries which have a lower rank than us, most of us sitting here, including me and your professors, won't know where those countries exist. There will be some sub-Saharan countries or some island countries where development has not reached. They could be below us. Human Development Index, right, which shows largely the quality of life, the quality of education, the quality of healthcare, life expectancy, political stability, electricity access, these kind of factors, right? Our rank is slightly better than per capita income. It is about 139 or 137 or that level. So how would we become a developed